Welcome back to JC Radio. As always, I have Cody Peasled with us. Cody, how you doing today?
Pretty good. How are you doing, John?
Another day in paradise as always, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so today we are going to talk about the recent events with James Gunn and him directing, or I guess not directing, the third Guardians of the Galaxy because he was fired from Disney and Marvel Studios because of a tweet that he sent out about 10 years ago.
Yeah, well, a series of tweets, but yeah, it was between 8 and 10 years ago that those were made.
Now, I mean, to me, there's a lot we can learn from this. I don't want to get into the political side of things, but it does show that you, no matter what, you need to be careful of what you put down on social media or what you just throw out there on the internet, because anybody can find out anything about you through the internet. Vin Diesel said that in Fast and Furious. But on a more serious note, like, really, I mean, jobs will, look at what you put on social media about the work or about who you are. And, I could find something about you, 10 years ago on, Facebook and,
oh yeah.
Yeah. You gotta be careful with that, but it was 10 years ago.
Yeah. And I mean, on top of that, it happened right around the time they hired him in the first place. So, if they'd actually done a background check, like every employer tells you they do, they would have known it already existed, which is kind of where it gets me, because I'm like, you knew this was already a thing. Like, basically, the way I see it is the way that they're going about this is basically saying that no matter what you've done in the past, we're not going to look past it ever. It's just always going to be there, and it doesn't matter that you've changed, or if you haven't changed, it doesn't matter. That's who you were, that's who you'll always be.
Which to me is kind of ironic, because that's pretty much the story of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Volume 1 and 2. I mean, they always talk about how, yeah, we were bad guys, we were criminals, we were, this and that. But even in Volume 2, they're all like, but this is who we are now.
Yeah.
They're still, quote unquote, a-holes. But they're good people. And that's what everybody's saying. Dave Bautista, Chris Pratt, Bradley Cooper, they're all saying he's a great, loving, honest, kind person now. And even James Gunn admitted, like, yeah, I made some stupid mistakes. And I will, and what's crazy is that he's like, I'll take full responsibility of this. I made stupid mistakes. We all have, but this is me now.
Yeah. I mean, for the listeners that don't know, basically 8 to 10 years ago, he had a series of tweets that came out that were very crude. I mean, I'm not going to say I found them necessarily funny like he was trying to, and they were very kind of based around pedophilia. I mean, one of them read, "I like when little boys touch me in my silly place." I mean, they're very crude. They're not exactly in the best taste, but he was that kind of comedian back then. I mean, he said it himself. He was a very crude, very kind of wanting to get that controversial stuff going kind of comedian. But he's also said, that was 10 years ago. He's not that same guy anymore.
Yeah, I mean, people change. I mean, they're freak. I mean, the person I was 10 years ago ain't even close to who I am.
Yeah. And, I mean, like I said, Disney knew about this before they ever hired him. These happened right around the time that they were hiring him, so they knew they existed. Why they're just coming out now with it, I don't even know. Like, what brought this up? I guess some fan or somebody was digging through his old tweets and found them and decided to bring it up, and Disney, I feel like, way overreacted to the whole situation.
Well, I heard it was a like conspiracist or something like that.
Like a conspiracy theorist or something.
Yeah, something like that. And like they found it and they blew it up. And I mean, Disney, they're in a big pickle.
Oh yeah.
Whether they knew about it or not when they hired him doesn't matter. The fact that Disney has a standard that they need to uphold that everybody knows about. But at the same time, do you do what most Disney movies are about? And it's like, don't judge me for the past. because this is who I am now.
I mean, I get they sort of have the reputation to uphold, their good, squeaky clean image, but at the same time, if you look at some of the people they've hired in the past, their image isn't that clean. If you really dig into it, I mean, hell, nothing against Robin Williams, love the guy, but they hired him back when he was in his stand-up days, and he was one of the crudest comics out there. And if anybody's ever listened to his whole stand-up bit on golf, he's got all kinds of language in there. On top of that, again, they hired Whoopi Goldberg back in her stand-up days when she was pretty crude. Like, they've got a reputation of hiring people that don't exactly fit their family-friendly image, and yet now they're like, well, we got to keep our image. And I'm like, have you looked at your past? I mean, shoot, the original Little Mermaid VHS cover had a penis in the background.
Yep. Straight up penis in the background. Well, see, and that's where I'm thinking, like, because of these mistakes, or quote-unquote mistakes, I don't think they were mistakes. The penis was a mistake. But, like, I don't think Robin Williams was a mistake, but...
No. Again, love him in anything he's done with Disney, but if you're just going to look
Aladdin.
if you're just going to look at who they've hired, I mean, he wasn't exactly a family-friendly guy when they hired him.
Yeah, I could kind of see that. I mean, like, he did... I mean, even his, like, quote-unquote, like, family movies were still, like, PG-13 movies and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, Mrs. Doubtfire is a big, family movie, but it was still PG... I think it was PG-13.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was PG-13.
Well, I'm going to need to fact-check the crap out of myself right now. But anyways, regardless, like... do you think the reason why they're doing this now is because they've seen in the past that they have hired these things? They've let a lot of things get away. They've let a lot of innuendos get in the way. They're thinking, well, we should probably play it safe now. We know that when we hired this guy, when we hired James, he made bad choices, but the fact that right now it's being made public, it's being made a big ordeal, their hands are tied. Do you think they made the right move?
I don't think so. And I mean, I've heard people say they thought from a business standpoint they didn't. Even if I look at it from that, I don't think it was the right move because, I mean, I get, there's the controversy behind it and you feel pressured into doing it. But if you're going from a business standpoint, this dude's brought you two huge blockbusters. Like, not even just did well, like, they smashed the box office with both of those movies.
Yeah. No doubt.
And to the fact that you've got some of your star actors saying, if he's not back, I'm not doing the movie. For one, you're going to have fans not wanting to see it because they know what he's done in the past with directing those movies. They want to see that. On top of that, if you lose some of your star actors in there, you're really going to be losing people at the box office.
Yeah, you're pretty much screwed at that point. Okay, Mrs. Doubtfire was rated... It doesn't even say. What the heck, IMDb?
Looks like it was PG-13.
It was PG-13? Okay.
Yep.
Well, IMDb, you suck. Anyways, yeah, no, I mean, so, back what you were saying about the actors, somebody recently, let's see, on August 5th, 2018, a fan on Twitter tweeted Dave Bautista, said, "Love your support for James Gunn. Do you have any plans or respond if Disney doesn't reinstate him for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Dave Bautista stated that he will do what he is legally obligated to do. He stated that Guardians of the Galaxy without James Gunn really isn't Guardians of the Galaxy, and he just goes on how he feels about how he's being treated. But he went on and said that, and I'm getting this from the GameSpot website, that Dave Bautista basically, in simple terms, said that if they don't bring James Gunn back, if they don't use James Gunn's script, if they decide to rewrite the script and do completely done with James Gunn, then he is going to go up to Disney, ask him kindly to destroy his contract, and they're going to have to recast Drax. And then he says that he spoke with Chris Pratt the day after everything happened. And, Chris Pratt is a religious guy, and he said he needs to pray about it to figure it out. But he said, basically, he ended up saying, F this is BS. And, they all have James Gunn's back. Everybody, even down to Bradley Cooper and Vin Diesel, they all are just, they're all saying how much of a loving guy he is and how he is not who he used to be. And, I mean, you could see that with Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, because there were these actors who came from very different acting backgrounds, straight up. And he's like, here, take these characters, or take the voice of this character and bring it to life. Be the character. Be like a child, seeing this character for the first time. How would you want to see it? And just the actors are just like, you know what? We're going to do this. And they did it spot on, not once, but twice. And heck, even 3 times in Infinity Wars. I mean, what he did with these actors to fully become these characters and to deprive them of that on a 4th time. I would like to say this really quick before somebody gets all mad at me and whatnot. Everybody is saying the same thing, that he's a loving guy, but they're also saying, and I agree with this, what he said was not okay.
No, I'm not saying
it wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was definitely in bad taste. I mean, I get comedians, nothing is off the table.
Yeah.
They go after whatever they want, which, I mean, I can't tell them not to. We've tried telling comedians, you can't do this, you can't do that. They're comedians. They don't care. They go after anything and everything is fair game to them.
Yeah,
the tweets were horrible. They were very crude, nothing like, what anybody should stand for. But, again, he's also admitted that. He said that, they were in bad taste, and at this point, he would have never even thought of making the joke.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to say 100% if this was the right thing or not. I mean, it was bad, and you need to be accountable for your actions, and he is taking full responsibility for his actions, and he will admit it was bad taste, and he goes on to that.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, at the same time, I understand Disney's really got their hands tied. I think if they go with a different director, if not have him on set as maybe a producer, I think that'd be fine.
That. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if he at least is there helping kind of, I guess not technically on paper as the director, but, more or less is still the director.
Yeah.
I could maybe see it still going over well because people are like, okay, we might not know that he had a hand in it, but really we kind of do. We know that he had a huge part in it and whatever, so it's still going to be what he had envisioned anyways.
Yeah, and I also think if not helping out, I don't know who they get. Say just for the sake of argument, they get like J.J. Abrams because he's in flipping everything.
Yeah.
And J.J.'s like, hey, James, don't know what I'm doing here. You want to come by here for 3 days, help me out? I think that'd be cool. I also think it'd be cool. I think, and this is where I draw the line, is get a new director, but keep the script, because he obviously knows what he's doing with these comic book characters and with these actors.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, again, I've said before, I'm more of a DC guy, so I don't know a lot with Marvel, but it definitely seems like he knows what he's doing with Guardians.
Oh, yeah. No, he straight up does. I don't know much about the Guardians of the Galaxy. A lot of the stuff I found out after watching the movie. I was a fan of Rocket the Raccoon, though.
Yeah.
And Howard the Duck, but that's a complete different thing. We're not even going to mention him. But I think that's where I draw the line. Did what he did, was it right? No. Has he asked for forgiveness and fully went through the process of asking for forgiveness, including never doing something like that again? Yes. Do I think he's a loving guy from what I hear and from what I've seen? Yeah, I don't see why not. I have no other reason to think otherwise. Do I think it's overly dramatic if the Guardians cast ends up leaving and they got to recast the whole thing? I feel like for the merchandising companies that would suck because they got to redo a lot of designs. But
yeah.
But if every single one of them says the same thing, like, hey, we're going to leave if this doesn't happen, then I guess I could get about that. I mean,
yeah, I could see it. I mean, you've worked with the guy now for how many years, going close to a decade now. Obviously, it's just 2 movies, but that's still a long time to have worked with somebody. They probably keep in contact outside of work even. They know him probably better than what the actual CEOs of Disney do. They probably don't actually, meet with him all that often except, when they're pitching the next movie or whatever. It's not like they're, going out to dinner with him or anything, so they have a very limited perspective on who he is as a person today. But I don't know. I get why it's kind of a tricky situation. I mean, what do you do? If you don't do anything about it, people are going to be like, oh, you're horrible people, yada, yada. You just let him get away with it. But I feel like firing him was a little bit overreacting.
Yeah, I don't know what the middle ground is between being like, get over it, people, it's 10 years ago, and, oh, we're going to fire him. I guess the middle ground would be, I don't know,
it's hard
director?
to say. Yeah, I don't really know how you do something else to kind of, hold him accountable for it. But it was, I think, the response time that they had, because it wasn't that long after it came out that they were just instantly like, oh, yeah, we just fired him. It's like, you got to give it more time than that, which I guess that's where I see it as an overreaction. If they thought about it more, really talked to the cast and the crew that have worked with them on the movies, and then decided, I guess I could have gotten behind it a little more. But it's just the fact that they just were like instantly, oh yeah, we just fired him. Like,
yeah, it's like, we're going to fire him. It's just like, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Here's how fast it happened. I didn't hear about it till like maybe 5 days after it happened. It happened fast.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it seems like, I mean, obviously it wasn't instantaneous, but in the scope of things, it seems like it was almost like they heard about it and then didn't even give it a second thought, and they're just like, yep, he's out.
Yeah.
It almost seems like they were looking for a reason to get rid of him with the speed that they got rid of him.
Yeah, see, I was thinking that too, but then again, like that just adds to the conspiracies, and I don't try not to add to the conspiracies. I'm more of a non-conspiracy type of guy. I don't know. Anyways.
Yeah, just kind of look at things for what they are.
Yeah. Well, we're going to end it there. Cody, it was really good talking to you. Thanks for coming on the show with us.
Yeah, no problem. It's always a great time, hanging out, talking whatever's going on in the industry, whether it be movie, music, whatever we're into. It's always great talking to you. We're excited for any new listeners and all our continued listeners.
Please look us up on Facebook, JC Radio at Podcast JC. We try to give out a new podcast every week. We'll try to keep you guys updated on the topics at hand and future topics. If you have any suggestions for future topics for us to discuss, please message us on Facebook. This is JC Radio signing out.